Got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
Turn up the music.
Let it breathe.
Little John, where are you, Little John?
Yeah, Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground.
Awesome. Well, welcome to our Unnamed podcast. That's what we are. We are the Unnamed podcast for now. I am Chaz Clark. This is Jay Hambrick over here. Justin.
Hello. We'll get it started. So in our first episode, both of us are definitely curious what one another are consuming. What are you into right now? What's sparking interest for you and holding your attention in a crazy world?
Yeah, with everything going on right now, well, for me, I've been diving into, spoiler alert, episode 5, or I think it's 5, that audiobook, how do you say his name? Bonhoeffer. I'm a couple chapters into Bonhoeffer, and his growing up, it's kind of blowing my mind, but it's nice to unplug from my life and learn about his life. So I'm enjoying that because just coming off of, for me, the other thing I'm really consuming that I'm enjoying, it sounds weird, but it's like quiet time, silence, like
really
consuming
like meditation, like purposeful, or just
getting away from the noise. Like I'm not like sitting on my yoga mat with legs and arms folded or anything. I'm just finding time where it's quiet and I'm not engaged at work or school or anything else. It's just, and that sometimes there are little moments here and there, and other times it's like, I need to step away and I need to get some air. And that can be with family. Like it's just maybe the noise that's around with this whole, stay at home. There's been a lot of, if everybody's at home, so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of noises. And for me personally, I just need, that quiet time. But yeah, so that I would say that's one right now. But what about you?
I dig it. I'm kind of hungry for that. I got a lot of distractions that I'm allowing going on right now, but some pleasant things I'm consuming. Like you said, the books that we're going to review here in the future. Some similar feelings. It's great. I love that about biographies and autobiographies, just to be able to walk in somebody's shoes a little bit. So been enjoying that. I'm picking up a separate book by Edward Snowden, Permanent Record. That one is really fascinating. Don't know if it'll make the podcast in the future, but another unique perspective and a very millennial perspective, somebody who grew up in our time, but also had very interesting experience in observing the world during a tumultuous time for privacy that we still kind of live in right now. Big data. So I've been enjoying that. I don't particularly dislike my government anymore, or like them anymore than when I started, but it's been a great read of something that's emerged since we've kind of emerged as adults.
Right. Yeah. So that's, what about maybe shows, TV? Like, what are you consuming there?
Yeah, TV shows. I'm pretty light on TV shows right now. I'm kind of hitting a lot of YouTube channels right now. So one channel that I'm following, not a sponsor of the show, disclaimer, is just a father and son's outdoor channel. It's called Outdoor Boys, and it's a guy who's probably around our age with 2 sons, probably 7 and 5, and they just go camping and they have adventures, and it's not particularly refined presentation. It's like, hey, if they go out on the boat and they run out of gas, then they run out of gas. It's not one of these like destination influencer,
They probably don't have like the Discovery channels, like, what are they gonna do when they get out on the boat? What happened? Just the whole you know, they always play up nature.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what I'm enjoying about it is
it's real.
it's real and
Yeah.
it's somebody else going on adventures that I'd like to do in some shape or form with my kids, but
Yeah.
he's doing some of it. So that's been kind of fun. Not a lot of TV shows otherwise. What about you? Catching anything on TV?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been done like real cable TV, and maybe by the time people listen to this, like that will be ancient history.
Yeah, no kidding.
Cable TV, but so lately I've been unplugging and relaxing that way. As school for me has kind of dropped off a little bit. I've got this little 2-week window, right? That's gonna, you know, so I'm kind of vegging a little bit, but my wife always makes fun of me because it's like she'll come down, she's like, you're always watching some documentary or Discovery Channel or what's the other one that's
history,
like
something like that,
or Nat Geo, Nat Geo, this kind of thing. So lately I've been watching there's this one guy on Nat Geo, I can't remember his name. It's pretty cool because he uses technology in a way that it's never been done before, and he's traveled the world. And he'll use like drones to do lidar scans of the environment. Like he went to Machu Picchu, and he did scans cutting through all the canopy down to the ground to see where all these other lost civilizations are using technology,
building foundations.
And then it points.
I'm nerding out on your lidar reference.
It's awesome. Like he finds these places, he's kind of reconstructed, and then during the show they'll use augmented reality, so AR, right? And then they'll show you like, hey, based on the period and the design, this is what it could have looked like. And then they show you like, you know, here's the foundation stones we found, here's how tall it looks. So I've kind of, you know, not somewhat binge watched over months his episodes, like weekend, and then some stuff on like the pyramids and stuff like that they're doing. It's like ancient Egypt stuff that they're finding. So still very much like engaged mentally.
But there's something calming about it.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's far from reality. It's actually kind of basis of reality now. Like you really don't know. Today until you know.
Trying to preserve
the past.
Preserve the past, use technology.
Right.
And it's stuff like we haven't had this technology to even do this. And oftentimes since he's with Nat Geo, he's like, this is the first time these scientists are seeing our scans, and you get to see their reaction live to be like, whoa, no way, that's there. And then they go there and they actually start digging and they find stuff, which is pretty cool. So maybe we'll post that in the show notes below when we get to show notes. Anyway, but yeah, fun stuff.
That's great. No, it's I think a good takeaway today is find the things that can not just be a total vegetative state for your mind, but maybe take you a little bit away from the stressors, the things that detract from hope, dare I say, but don't turn you into again, don't really know another word to use right now, but just kind of a pure consumer.
Yeah, just consumer of entertainment. You know, hopefully, you know, if people are stuck at home in that state, you know, I mean, maybe they can try and branch out. I personally don't know what it's like for some of those that are, you know, at home, lost their job, waiting for that next check to survive, and that's what they got. They got Netflix, or they've got, you know, Disney Plus, again, non-sponsors of the show. But you know, it's how we cope. It's how we relax. And
Well, nice, man. Well, the real body of today's discussion is me interviewing you.
Sweet. Let's do it.
Tyler Chaz. So, I've got a series of questions. There's been no preparation really for these. So, given that, I just want you
fire away.
Hit
me with your best shot.
Yeah, you know, just this doesn't have to be right the first time. This is opportunity for everybody to get to know you the way I know you, and more. I'm excited to learn more about you, things I don't know about you, about your family, about, where you are now, where you've been in the past. And so let me kick it off with a few questions. You'll feel kind of a little bit of a vibe or a theme with some of these. And so we got to start with just where you grew up and what that was like. So give us a little window into the Tyler Chaz childhood.
The little me back in the day. Yeah, all right. So, I mean, I'm now filming this, right? Well, I'm in Chicago, and you're out near Seattle, and we're near big cities. I'm not downtown Chicago, but suburbs. And so I guess this takes us back all the way to a little place I like to call Idaho. It's not Iowa for any Midwest.
It's potatoes, baby.
It is potatoes. You got that right. Idaho is potatoes. But yeah, we get Iowa all the time, or they have nowhere to. I don't know. Many people.
Is that by Alaska?
Yeah, like, where is that on the map? By the Dakotas? Or yeah, no, nobody really knows where Idaho is except for those that live near. Which, hey man, growing up in Idaho, I could not have drawn a map even though I took geography. That's why you own the geography book, because you don't need to put maps in your brain. Yeah, it's just small town, named after, I think, an Indian chief, Chief Pocatello. And next to that, I lived in Pocatello for a little bit, but mostly Chubbuck, which is a small suburb town of that. And
now you're zooming in.
Now we're zooming in, right?
Microscopic.
So you could zoom in and see that. I think the whole city back then, maybe like 20,000 people.
Okay.
Maybe Pocatello, I think, was 50. I mean, they're much more now. It was a bit bigger than some of the small cities where it has, like one main road that goes through the whole city.
So maybe not smallest town America, like Mayberry, not quite like that.
I mean, we were large enough population wise to have, in high school, we were I think back then 1A was the biggest, right? They flipped it since. Now 5A is the biggest.
Okay.
So we were a 1A school, large enough, I don't know, 350 graduating class, something like that. I don't really remember. But little, grew up in a small, dipping out of screen here, for no apparent reason, to scratch my foot.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yeah, man, let's see. Small ranch growing up. Only
I was gonna say, tell me like what was Pocatello then as far as livelihood? Sometimes I drive through our wonderful nation and pass by some of these exits and just go, what keeps people there, or what are people there for work, for life? So what would you say Pocatello is? I know I interrupted you, but you were saying. Right?
Yeah, no, that it kind of feeds in, because if I've got my family history right, my great grandpa or great grandpa worked on some of the furnaces of a major mining plant for phosphorus.
Okay.
So it was kind of a phosphorus town, and I guess they needed brick furnaces, and so I know a relative helped build those, and that I guess kind of established our family there for quite some time.
Yeah. And
that really ran, I mean, people work there, although it's shut down now. I mean, so there's like FMC and Simplot, and those two places, I mean, big names at the time, but I don't think Simplot's going, and FMC, like one of them like closed. I'm not sure which. But I think that was a major source for the town. Little known hint, and if the black suits show up at my door soon, because I'm sharing this information online, then I'll let you know, or you just won't see me anymore. There is a big FBI headquarters there.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
It was weird. I mean, you always saw this double gated place, like you knew it was there. I didn't really know what it was until my parents were like, hey, yeah, that's like one of the big FBI research centers. something. So that was always weird. Never really met anybody.
I'm sure that's public information these days based on what I'm reading in Edward Snowden's book. Actually, I know it is, but interesting.
Probably nothing secretive, but I think those were some of the big early starters. And then it was just all your stores around town. It wasn't really another big plant. I know they were fighting to get a big silicon plant there. I don't know if that's gone up. There used to be a place for I want to say AMD. It was some sort of and my uncle, when he was growing up, he worked there, and he's still in the microchip business. So things like that were around. The Idaho State University's in the town. So
university, yep.
The state universities there. Went there for a semester or two. And but yeah, I mean, childhood. One interesting thing, like, I mean, maybe this happens other places, but shout out to a old buddy, Jeff Rowe. So we lived walking distance from each other. We went to the same same elementary school all the way through high school. We share the same birthday, and we met in kindergarten. Yeah. So I know, like, we're close birthday wise, but like same day. And anyway, we have many memories together, and still stay in touch. So
that's cool. No, I think that's a lot of, what people can relate to growing up not in Chicago, Seattle, suburb of one of those cities.
I mean, maybe
there's been pretty
describe it this way, just a little spin on that, because I mean, you think of Idaho, you think farms, you think potatoes,
open space.
I was like an Idaho City suburb boy. Like, I mean, like just like the suburbs out here, you had houses surrounding you. I mean, unless you went outside of areas. I did have friends that lived on acres, like a couple acres, like maybe 4 or 5. I knew some farmers, but at least Pocatello, Chubbuck, it was more city life than farming. I mean, I helped people move pipe, and if people don't know what that is, it's how you water the crops. So that
there you go.
But moving pipe, I only helped, but I mean, I guess I had friends that grew up doing that. But yeah, so it's not as it's normal, right? In top schools. I mean, we went to state football championships, I don't know, 14, 15 years in a row, if I remember right, for Highland Rams. I went to those finals 3 times playing. We won one of those, so I have a nice high school Super Bowl ring. But yeah,
world champions.
Yes,
that's awesome. No, man, that's a straight up slice of Americana there. I think that's a great introduction to kind of where your roots were and your family's roots. Yeah. So tell me then, let's flash forward a little bit then. So in high school, did you have a band? Did you want to start a band? And if you didn't have a band, did you want to have a band? What music were you going to play?
Interesting. So high school definitely was my music era. Like, I still listen to I'm kind of still stuck in high school musical wise. I mean, I'll listen to
not emotionally
to other stuff, but I mean, that was all. Anyway, I won't go out labeling all the different genres and the different decades and how good they were. But so, I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? That's when they started taking off. Sublime, man, who else? These are just coming to my head. And it pushed pause, I think, after high school, for going on the mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then came back. I didn't really pick it up. And, when I met you, got back into a bunch of other cool music, which I'm sure we'll be talking about in episode.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Well, let me ask you a follow up on music then. So, for me, there's been notable experiences with music, whether it's an emotional connection, actually playing the music, live experience, being live at a concert. So I don't know how we want to call those. In my mind, they're kind of like cornerstone musical experiences or mind blown music experiences. Do you have one of those kind of in that heyday of high school? What was that song or what was that artist? And then what was that influence on you?
And I'll kind of couple the two because I hadn't quite answered the first question. But man, I thought bands were cool. Yeah. I never thought I was talented enough to be in or start or anything like that. I was super shy, not gonna lie.
Interesting.
I still have bouts of that, and I've learned a lot more about myself with like this. My wife introduced me to the Enneagrams, and maybe we'll talk more about that on a future thing, which has really helped me understand myself from that perspective, and maybe why that has been the way it has been for me. So I had friends in band, I had friends in choir, and it wasn't until my senior year in high school that one of my friends talked me into joining choir. And I could always sing. I always sang at church. I always sang in groups, in choirs, but no formal training, nothing.
Right.
And so it was a lot of learning for me to get into that. So I love to sing, and I love to sing along with songs, in the car, hearing all these new things. And I never went to concerts though. I always wanted to. I mean, I'd see like bands playing at like the 4th of July when you go to the park and there's a local band playing some stuff. And, I had access to a guitar. I bought one, that electrical guitar that maybe you saw when we first started college. I started picking it up, started learning tabs. My uncle would play. So I was like, oh, this is super cool. But even to this day, I'm probably still at that level of playing. But a couple moments I can think of was I would sit in the car with his friend Jason, and we loved Eminem. I mean, Eminem was hot, snap. The records, and I had to buy the clean version because I just couldn't. But we would he would play
high schooler with a conscience. Well done.
Yeah, they had clean. I don't know if they even do clean versions anymore.
I don't know.
That was like a thing through Walmart or something. And so we would sit there. We actually would print out all the lyrics or get the CD so we could read it. And we would and we would try we would sit in the car for hours and just go and go and go. Like we had to get the lyrics down. We had to. And then maybe some of the other times, like kind of that feel for performance. You kind of mentioned that we went on choir tour, which I'm sure is a lot like band tour, and I'm getting a lot of people commenting on that or something. Tease me. Go ahead. Don't care. It was fun.
Band.
Choir tour. But there's a group of us guys that we got together, and there was this a cappella group that had done a song. And so I ignored my classes probably for a couple days, and I had this playing in my portable CD player on my lap, running a headphone to my ear, over one of them.
What was your skip protection? Was it like 10 seconds? Because that'd be legit.
It was, yeah, I think it was. I mean, this was like a nice Sony. I think I remember even like I spent $120 on this thing because it had it came with everything to like Velcro it into your car, plug the cassette in, and but I listened to this
protection like a boss.
I broke down all the parts, not like by note, but I like I was like, okay, I can hear this other part, and I went through and dissected it. And I can remember sitting in Mrs. Hershey's math class in like a calculus or whatever class it was, and I'm listening to the song, trying to break out these parts so we could practice and perform it on choir tour. We performed it for people we were with, but we never actually got it to a point where we felt
audience.
Show it off against another school. But that was probably that piece where I was like, I would sing for a band if I could get, more vocal training and stuff. Like I would love to produce my own CD singing. Like, I don't know if I could play the guitar. Maybe I could do that enough to riff off something to have another musician like write it out.
Nice.
But that would be like one of those back pipe dreams. Like, hey, if you had all the money in the world, like, what would you do? And like, I could sing maybe.
The question would be, and you don't have to answer this, but based on that kind of music history and some of those pivotal moments,
Yeah.
whether you would be freestyling 8 Mile style, or whether you'd be dropping some acapella, all parts, like
Oh
Andy in the
man, yeah,
office.
like
Don't have to answer that.
looping. Oh yeah, that just. I'll say this, like, and I guess someone I just think has a great voice and does this, and I'm drawing blank on his name. He was in The Voice, and now he's doing this whole Nashville like songwriting show. He's directing it.
Oh, okay.
Adam, what's his name? He's the lead singer for Maroon 5 lead singer. What's his last name? Adam.
Oh yeah, Adam Levine.
Maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, he's got a sweet voice. Oh, and dude, the guy from that sings the Frozen song, the new Frozen 2 song. It's our band. Like, come
Weezer?
on. No, not Weezer.
Panic at the Disco.
Team.
Brandon.
Nick, yes.
Panic at the Disco. Oh, that dude's incredible.
His range, like,
oh,
that's like our jam at this house with COVID and stuck at home. Like, we'll just be like, okay, Google, our little Google disc thingy, play, whatever, Frozen by Panic at the Disco. And then, like, I mean, I'm not hitting every note clearly, but I can follow him through that song, which is
that's crazy.
Fun. It's fun for me. Those super songs. Another one, as far as like just sweet vocals that I'm like, I have no clue how you're hitting these notes as strong as you are. It's an old school band, Erasure.
Yeah.
And they just, I actually
enjoy the silence
this morning because it popped in my head and I was like, I need to hear that. Because anyway, so I really appreciate some good high male
vocal capabilities, arrangements. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, people are probably
hearing good, man.
You sing bass right now. This is the end of the day when my voice just goes lower and lower. Yeah. But in the morning, like nice high stuff. Anyway.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to emerge into adulthood, but try and figure out kind of those emerging, not necessarily moments, but traits. So one would be just how would you describe the work ethic that you have developed and where did it come from?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think pre-adulthood, there was always this joke in the house, and I think I still get teased about this today, that it's like, hey, we need to do this. And I'd be like, I got to go to the bathroom. I would, nice. I guess as a kid, I would disappear. I actually kind of remember this.
It's either like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, which are not funny. I'm sorry, audience.
No, those are very serious indeed.
Those are, I can't help you or I'll poop my pants.
But I mean, and honestly, they thought I was like giving the excuse like, oh, you didn't want to do work because I'd go to the bathroom, come and be like, oh, the dishes are done. Whoops, But I think it was more of a like, I was playing and engaged so much, like I had prolonged that too long that when I need to shift gears, like, no way, I cannot do anything else or I will pee my pants, basically.
Nice.
That may still have not the pee in the pants thing, but I may still do that from time to time. Like, anyway, so that kind of ties into, like, little humor of the pee in the pants thing, but
incredible focus.
Too much focus. I don't even know what I was doing. I just didn't want to clean and stuff like that. And I think probably the most I saw the work ethic, seeing what is unseen, I guess, from my dad with work ethic. He was just always gone at work through the younger years. So I think that's where it came from, because I was just like, oh, well, he's my dad. He's out taking care of the family. We have a day. And when he was home, but there was even a time, and I now relate to this much more so, he went back to get his master's, which is what I'm starting to finish.
Nice.
And doing that with a family with young kids. I mean, we had 4 kids. I've got 1, and it's crazy, and I don't know how. So that was part of it. And to see him pursue education, to get himself into better situations. So and I think as in adulthood, it was just like, you know, I had friends too. We would kind of get in arguments with my parents over this, but I had friends that didn't have chores or didn't need to help around the house. We did. And we not only did we have to do that, but the way my mom structured it is we even had, she wanted things clean, not our way, but her way. So in order for her to communicate that to us, we had little cards for each room that were like checkbox cards. They may even be laminated. I don't remember, but it was like you had to do each of these steps and you had to do it. And that was just part of your life. That was just what you had to do. Yeah. And then they also, I think for better, let me work. I mean, I worked a lot through high school. I mean, I had after high school jobs, I think probably when I turned 16, all the way through high school. So, I mean, my work career started super early. I mean, I didn't do fast food, which not knocking on that if that's what people did, although it was close, right? I mean, we did some Pier 49 pizza place, Jamba Juice. I mean, I make a killer Orange Dream Machine.
Man.
And I started modifying the recipes for better purposes. It was just, anyway, so I think that's kind of where it grew. And then I think also, so flipping back to the when you go for a 2-year service mission for the church and that structure that it puts you in that age, preparing you for manhood, I'd say. Yeah. I mean, I think
commitment, planning, executing a plan, getting along with people,
accountability, all of that probably solidified all that stuff from before. And then it was kind of the springboard going forth from that. I mean, because after that, I mean, I worked through college the whole time. I mean, when I was
I don't remember you ever in college not having a job.
Oh, yeah, I knew people that didn't have jobs or they were, on scholarships or grants or whatever. I mean, and not saying that's bad but there is statistics out there, and I'm just going to pull this out of nowhere, but the people that have to work during their college years get better grades overall, like, cause you have to manage your time.
Right.
And man, I remember some of those semesters, like when I wasn't in school, but I was there working, those were crazy. Cause it was like so much to do, but I had to always, go back to work and stuff. So, I mean, if you're always working, you're going to have a work ethic. And so I just kind of came from that.
That's excellent. So I think there's a lot from your work ethic that I've observed, which is excellent, by the way, and very admirable. But how does that develop into, I guess, skills as an adult? And maybe that's not so much a question. I think the question I really have is, what do you think the skills as an adult that were really the most difficult to develop?
And I think this could be different for most people. This will be obviously my experience, but I think a lot of that is somewhat personality based, because I think you develop the skills and tools you need to either aid your weaknesses or strengthen your strengths. So I'm a big proponent of the latter, like strengthening your strengths over people that are like, no, you need to fix your weaknesses. Well, I think you need to fix your weaknesses to a point. You need to be aware of them.
Yeah.
You need to get them to where they're not going to make you fail. They're not a stumbling block. But otherwise, I think way more into your strengths. So like if a good way to get this idea out there is like, if I, for my kid, if he starts going to school and he's getting C's in certain classes, I'm not going to be like, you need straight A's. Like, I'm going to be like, what 2 or 3 classes are you getting A's in? We're getting you in those AP classes. We're going to get A's to B's so that all you need to know, but you're going to get in AP classes. I'm going to see if you can skip a year in whatever those A's are and which one do you enjoy. Like start, I wish I would have had that when I was younger.
Yeah.
So as far as maybe a skill, that's what I've developed for myself to kind of look inward and find what I like. And that's really a journey I've been on for quite some time, even into this master's degree, all the way, all those years of working. Cause it's like, you want to work, from what I hear other people I talk to, like people want meaningful work these days, right? So they want something they enjoy. They want something meaningful, even maybe a service related, where you help other people to to a point, even with the products or services you're offering. And in order to do that, I think if everybody, this is maybe like the utopia idea, but if everybody played to their strengths and everybody gave forgiveness in the weaknesses and just said, hey, this is maybe too big of a weakness, you need to get this up a little bit, and we were willing to offload of people things that are weak for them and only give them where their strength and value added, it would be such a different place. Like,
that sounds like a really strong kind of mentor structure where what you're describing, I didn't get, and this isn't a diss to the old alma mater, but I didn't get this from an education.
No,
I didn't get that type of approach from a parent.
Right.
Mom, dad, love you. Props.
Right. Yeah.
But to get that from kind of a mentor and somebody who tells you, yeah, there's kind of a resume of you talking about yourself and what you think your value is in an organization or in an opportunity, strengths and weaknesses, kind of that SWOT analysis.
Right.
And I tend to lean way more on the opportunity and the strength side than the weaknesses, because if you make that list, you can make that weakness list as long as you want it.
Oh yeah.
And you will have accomplished not very much.
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody who wants others, I think we agree on this and are like-mindedness, want to see others succeed. And that's a way for me that I want to help serve, is to help others find their strengths. And by doing that and find opportunities, that brings great hope.
Yeah.
So I think that's nice, man. That's a nice adult skill that improves your perspective on the world and other people.
Yeah. And I mean, I honestly, I know this episode's kind of been interviewing me, but as I was learning through this, I mean, and like you said, this doesn't come with education. Like I learned this from other people that they had to learn it as an adult, but I also saw it occur, I think, sooner in your life, at least from my perspective, in the mentors you had through Boston, right out of college, where they saw skill sets and they were open with you, and they had at least that, I see your strengths, I see where you're skilled at, I'm going to help develop you and open that dialogue for conversation, which me in the work area, I think I've had the opposite for a very long time, just till recently. So I mean, maybe you could speak to some of those early things, kind of along those lines. I'm just thinking that one, around that circle of eagles in Idaho Falls.
I mean, that company was I think about that mentor often. I thought about him today in preparation for this podcast. He's the type of person that he's older in age, and if he were to pass away, I would want to go to his funeral out of respect.
Yeah.
Not because we were so close, but because he was that mentor for me very early on. He was the mentor at that time that if I could go back and mentor myself, I would have said a lot of the same things that he taught me. So that to me is kind of the epitome of wisdom, that a mentor, if they'll take the time and just say, hey, you have a ton of capability and a ton of potential, and here's where you can maximize that and leverage that. Here's where you probably won't need to focus and emphasize. Maybe that's industry specific. Maybe that's a career path. He never really asked me Justin, what do you want to do, or who do you want to be?
Yeah.
He just kind of said, hey, well, you're here in this company. Here's how you can make a difference. You've got potential. Here's how you can make a difference. That was a huge start. And he instilled in me a approachability
Mm-hmm.
in a leader. I had zero kind of delegated authority to me.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and I didn't have to go to him to ask for authority. I mean, he had it. His signature was everything. Mine was nothing. But he was approachable, whether it was work related, career related,
Mm-hmm.
happenings within the organization. He wasn't one of these leaders or purported leaders who would wait for somebody else to bring bad news or good news. And that has resonated with me now, trying to lead people in a work setting and be a good example is to just follow that example. So he definitely helped me out a lot. I don't want this to be my interview though.
Yeah.
Show
Yeah.
for another
No,
day.
I mean, it's just to pause here and, so I think I'm going to flip my mentor minute and I'm just going to make a plug right here because
Yeah, do.
we were trying to do that maybe near the end, but maybe just it is here right now. So if you're out there listening, you're a boss now, a future boss, you're wherever you're at, you could be on the flip side of that. You're the employee, you're
Yep.
the partner of the company, your worker, whatever your role, look for that or be that. Be that if you're not the leader or in a leader role, be that to peers, right? Be approachable, point out strengths, reinforce strengths. And if you are a leader, find a way to be more approachable. I mean,
Yep.
but from your experiences to mine, I think we probably cover the extremes in the good and the bad here. Both of these,
Sure.
and I know what it's like to be on that bad side. Like I
Yeah.
had days at work where I was like, I hear my boss's voice. I don't want to go down that hallway.
Mm.
Kind of a like anti-approachable, like complete.
Yeah.
And other, and then to your side, it's like if you felt you needed something, you knew you had someone, someone's in your corner, right? Someone's there to back
Yep.
you up. Someone's there to totally approachable. I just need to talk to you about this, like whatever it is. And so if to, it work toward that wherever you're at, like we're all in different
Yep.
for that, but work toward that, keep that in mind. I mean, make a goal for that and you will probably change someone's life
Yeah.
if you do that peer to peer or even leading up. Like if you could be approachable for your boss somehow, just if people feel they can come talk to you about anything and those work related things will come along with that, but just person to person, like we're all brothers and sisters here on this earth, so just be one to these
Yeah.
other people and them for their strengths and
That really is like,
help them.
it's not a secret, but our day and age, it is kind of
It's like
common.
yeah,
It's uncommon, unfortunately.
once you hear about it, you're like, oh yeah, I mean that makes total sense, and it's like out front. And when it's there, and you don't think about it. But when it's missing, you're like, I can't quite put my finger on what's missing here.
Yeah.
Until until you call the spade a spade, and then you're like, oh yes, that's what I was missing. Like if you asked me a couple years ago, I probably would not have said approachability.
Mm.
But now looking back through some of those situations, like, oh yeah, that's definitely part of it. That's part of it. Plus the focus on the strength. I think you could totally be approachable. And if you focus on their weaknesses or don't focus on them at all, and you're just a buddy, that's not necessarily mentorship or helping or bringing people, hope. So
Yeah. And it kind of goes both ways because, as a leader, you can't really pull people up. You want to,
yeah,
but if all you're focused on or collaborating on, or that mentorship equates to only, I'm going to make this person into who I think they have to be
yeah,
because of their weaknesses, turning that around. The other thing I was going to share before we hop off the mentor moment, which is just solid, really
yeah.
appreciate you sharing that,
Mm-hmm.
is I can't agree with you more that being able to lift others and help others. And we're talking about work, by the way.
Yeah,
We're not talking about youth group. We're talking about career, corporate America, or whatever your chunk of this business world or your career is. And again, I said the word secret, but it's just the uncommon pattern you're talking about. Can't agree with more. And that is, be an advocate for other people and their strengths. Give people the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't mean be gullible. Be informed, be engaged. And sorry, I do have a couple more that might throw you for a loop. So
okay, yeah, let's do it.
One question I just want to know is, it's kind of magic related. If you had this magic ability to remove any one word from the human language, I don't mean English, I just mean from humanity in our experience. If you could remove one word, what would it be and why?
Oh, well, the first thing that came to mind would be the word you have to bleep from everything, the F word. And it's in every language. And that is an alarm that needs to not go off during the podcast.
That was your own censorship, I think. You even said F word and it was like bing, bing, bing.
Beep. I cringe when I hear that word. And I mean, I honestly, when I hear it, I'm like, okay, certain circumstances, it's like, maybe, but I still don't like it. And I'm like, did you take English class? Like, they use it as a way they think they can describe everything. And it makes people sound less intelligent, honestly. And then it can be very offensive. And it's like, do you even know what the real meaning of that word is? Like, if I actually applied the actual definition to what you're saying, that's crazy.
Context.
It's just so, I would wipe that one away. But then I was thinking like, well, and maybe this wouldn't change behavior. So maybe it's not a good, I mean, maybe neither might, but I mean, this is all hypothetical, right? We're talking magic here. Like,
we are talking about magic.
Like, poof, can I use my Harry Potter wand I have right here?
Hey,
like,
now, watch out.
I built this.
Nice.
I
question during this interview about what house you're from. Sorry.
Oh yes, totally Gryffindor, because I don't know, I just relate. Although I think I've taken some tests and they're like, you're in Hufflepuff, and I'm like,
there you go.
No, I'm not. I want to pull the sword out of that.
There's nobody ever.
No, like, I chose Slytherin. But yeah, I just no.
Second word, because your magic is deep, expansive magic.
Second word. Oh yes, I was thinking hate. I mean, that's another word I try not to use. I try not to. I mean, not to. I mean, if it's appropriate, I think it's another word that people don't realize the potential level of connotation that comes with that word. And I think it kind of opposes, kind of what we're about, the things we're trying to bring forth here in hope and joy. It's like, oh, no, I hate that. It's like, really? Do you really hate that? Like that much? And maybe it's just been watered down so much over time, but it's like, I mean, go back. I have not taken an English class since high school. Let's make this. I specifically took an advanced English class so I would never have to take one in college. Like, so I finished English early my senior year.
Your English classes are my math classes.
No, we're like the opposite on that. And I've taken math classes for years since. Anyway, but this stuff I learned in high school that I still relate back to it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, so I think they're very strong words. I think they're used inappropriately, and people could choose more words. I mean, there's this whole language out there, this whole colorful living. We're one of like, I'm sure other languages are living like English. We keep adding to the dictionary every word because we add ain't and we add all these other urban dictionary words. But yeah, those would probably be my two.
Solid, man. Nice. I had 3 more questions.
Cool.
The third, before we wrap up, is I want you to list 2 highly influential, non-scriptural books that have really changed your life. 2 titles, and maybe a little bit as to why.
All right. The first one, and this kind of goes along with some of the question you asked before. I'll note the author here first because I've listened to many of his books. John, by the way, non-scriptural. His book in high school, I think it's called like What I Wish I Knew Before Graduating High School, or How to something on surviving high school. Anyway, that just opened my mind. He has one on marriage, like What I Wish I Knew Before I Got Married. Listen, read that. It just, like the title says, I felt connected to him probably because of some of that shyness. But I'm like borderline extrovert. Like I like my personal time, but I need my social time. I like to go to parties and have fun and joke around, but I could not do that all day long. I mean, other people can.
Yeah, sure.
Like I have my peaks and valleys. Like I recharge by myself and then I can spend it, and it kind of socially charges me, but then maybe like drains me physically being in that scenario. So for me, like that kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. So John, by the way, for sure. And then, man, the other one, there's probably others, but the one that's coming to mind, and he's an author. I'll have to say Dave Ramsey in a lot of things, because my life trajectory has honestly changed because some of the content I've consumed from him and some of his books and his classes and courses, and even in the business world, like his entree leadership stuff. I've been to one of his live events for that, and just really changed my perspective into kind of the servant leadership mentality and stuff. So I think we lost you, but that was a good answer. So I'm going to leave that in, and we're going to cut the rest of this out. So I don't know what's going on. We're probably getting to Netflix time for The Neighborhood. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. I've been through a wormhole, apparently.
You just tried from time. I kept knocking. I recorded it, so you're going to have to watch this podcast to get that.
Second Harry Potter reference, maybe third or fourth since we've disconnected. I went through a Porky, but I'm back.
Oh yes, Porky, very good.
Second title. I got first title.
Title. Yeah, you're going to watch the podcast. I'm sorry. No, I went off about Dave Ramsey for a little bit.
Got it. Okay.
Books, his content. It really changed my life. So here's a short scenario. I was a junior in college, and I went off and bought a brand new truck.
Yep, I recall.
Like, what was I thinking? Like, it was awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
You worked your entire adult life.
Yeah, and I've since sold that beautiful truck.
Yes.
That I think someone broke a leg on the snowboard we packed into the sand dunes in the winter in that truck, and stepped on cactus when they borrowed my truck out in the dunes. Anyway, lots of things have happened. But yeah, I probably would never have made that decision, and it was right after that I came across Dave Ramsey for the first time. And I was like, what did I do? But I'm going to enjoy this because I have it. But I honestly worked to pay for my truck and food and lodging and all that. But I might not have been so stressed if I didn't have a $505 a month payment for my truck every month while in college. So it's crazy.
Dude, yeah, there. Don't buy brand new vehicles.
Yeah.
Don't do it in college. Holy moly.
No, when you're making like $250 a week, so half of your paycheck is going for your vehicle, and it was like $4 a gallon for gas about that time, like 350, 370.
That's right.
Like I remember $80, 80 to $90 every time I filled it up in college.
Yikes.
So you add the payment plus that's like 65% of my take home pay going just to vehicle.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But yeah, so that'd be my second.
Just two more. So the last two has some additional depth, right?
Yeah.
How have you found the positive and negative situations in your life?
That is deep. That's tough. I honestly think my first reaction is to find the negative. The negative.
Nice.
I think I give myself a period of time to just recognize it and be like, wow, yeah, this is negative. This is not good, or whatever it is. And because sometimes I'm probably also tell myself it's not that bad, be like, no, I can handle this a little bit. And then it continues and you're like, it'll get better. Right. Maybe that's, the psychology in the back of my mind, being always looking for and giving, like you said earlier, the benefit of the doubt, right? Giving the benefit of the doubt. Oh, it's not bad, right? Oh, it happened again. Oh, okay. And it keeps coming. And then you find it like, yeah, this is not right, right? And sometimes it takes other people to help you recognize that. And that happens. There's a whole psychology to some of that in certain situations. But I think from there, after embracing the negative, my brain goes into solution mode, and it's, can I fix it? And if I can, then I work through that. Or if I can't, or it doesn't seem like it's something other people are willing to work through, then I kind of move on and find a better situation, a better place.
I've got a final question.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it to the outro. So the final question.
Ready.
Gloves are off. We know quite a bit about you. How do you define hope?
Ooh. Man, for me personally, hope is kind of the anticipation of better. And I say expectation.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the middle of those two words. Because I think if you just anticipate it, that's more hope or more faith in my mind.
Okay.
The anticipation, like things will be better. I have faith they will be better. And you could almost say, I hope they will be better.
Yeah.
And those two words to me, they have so much intertwining that, I mean, don't say I'm like splitting hairs here, but and maybe reassurance or even peace of heart that things will get to that state. So like, for example, with what we're going through, the whole stay at home, I've been working from home for months. I don't know when I'll get back to the office, right? I just know and a lot of things are happening today. I mean, look it up in the news if you want to know what's going on in Chicago. But with everything, it's like, you know what? I know the future's brighter for everybody. I just believe that. And I kind of expect it. And I will even put some ownership on my shoulders to say I'm part of making that come to pass.
Yeah.
And other people are as well. And if everybody puts in their work, and I think that just happens. So yeah, I mean, hope for tomorrow, hope for a brighter day, all those things. Like, we are empowered so much to make a lot of things happen. And I also believe it's through us that a lot of for those people of faith, that God works through us. He works through people. He put us here to help our brothers and sisters, and I think a big part of that is hope. We can strengthen each other. We can give each other hope. We can pat each other on the back, text, whatever, that lightens people's loads. And we're all finding how social we need to be, and that these social media outlets aren't giving that to us, and so we need to go on those 6 feet apart walks with our friends and chat, and make phone calls and stuff. And so I think those little things give hope to people. So
it's excellent. It's excellent, man. That's a fantastic glimpse into you and who you've been and who you are, and a lot of what I'm excited about our future shows together and podcasts, and discussing our experiences, the world around us, and reaching out to our audience to help encourage some of that hope.
Sounds great.
Real.
Yes.
Real.
Yeah. And I mean, if we do put this on YouTube, thumbs up, please. And
hit the subscribe, link for the bell.
Thumbs up.
That's right.
Thumbs down if you don't like it. I mean, give us some comments, give us some feedback, people. Whatever platform we pick, I mean, let us know. This is old school, and we're gonna have to get a list going so we get some more. I don't know if you can hear this.
There it is.
There it is. Boom, shake the room. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. I don't know how much of this we can actually go through before they flag us for copyright. Boom, boom,
take. Find out, man.
And
DJ
Fresh
Jazzy
Prince,
Jeff taking us out.
So full circle on that. He was my favorite rapper. Growing up, that musical era, high school, I have the singles of Getting Jiggy With It.
Yes.
The single CD, one track on a whole CD, Getting Jiggy With It.
$5, take my money, give me that.
I ordered Code Red, his CD, off of eBay because it wasn't in numbers by the time I knew it existed. Anyway, so another little glimpse there, but anyway, audience, hope you liked this. Get a little laugh in here and there. We'll see you next episode.
That's right. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Lates.